Now here's a topic that has a lot of people upset. Today, the Memphis Zoo announced China wants its famous pandas back. Yaya and Lola have been delighting families for 20 years. In Memphis, one of the few zoos in the country to have a panda exhibit. Rebecca Butcher spoke with a former zookeeper who actually cared for our pandas. And Rebecca, I remember what a huge deal it was when the pandas first arrived. This could have a big impact on our zoo.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this this big news here in the city of Memphis. It certainly feels like an end to an era. With Yaya and Lola coming to the city came literal pandemonium. Their former keeper says the goodbye that will be taking place in a few months won't dampen Memphis's zoo visitation, but it will surely be a sad goodbye. Well, it was like a city holiday.
Oh boy. It was chaos, but a good chaos. I mean, the lead up to them getting there was incredibly busy.
When Chinese pandas Yaya and Lola came to Memphis in 2003, bringing with them a piece of China.
Everybody had previous bear experience, but pandas are, a totally different deal. They're pretty much all bamboo.
Says Janet Cooper, former panda keeper at the Memphis Zoo. The new arrivals meant initially telling the two pandas apart, figuring out behavior, and longer hours.
It was also a process. Even if they had been together, just the stress of moving all the way across the world, we would have still done like a slow introduction.
Cooper, who's worked with wildlife for 30 years, says when the pandas arrived, the zoo was jam-packed. She says with them leaving,
I think it's definitely going to have an impact. It's really going to have an impact on the staff. But as far as the zoo's reputation and ability, I don't think it'll be too much of a drawback.
The Memphis Zoo renewed the contract to keep the pandas in 2013 for another 10 years.
With the pandas, I would imagine it was at least a couple of years that they've been trying to get feelers out for, is this going to continue? Is it not?
Right.
With the fact that San Diego's left, I would bet that we had a pretty good inkling.
While animal activists are claiming a victory for the pandas leaving Memphis, alleging suffering at the zoo, Cooper shares.
Most of the time, they don't see the real picture. They're not there seeing the day-to-day care, seeing what's going on. In an ideal world, we wouldn't need animals in captivity, but this is not an ideal world.
The zoo says it may be about 6 months before the pandas are officially flown back to China. Cooper saying contracts will likely need to be drawn up and signed on both sides to fly an endangered species like the pandas back again. Richard?